Hello, everybody. All right, so welcome. Well, we've reached something. We've reached the middle of the week here. Um, as it looks like we already have some more people in here. Okay. Anyways, I do need to step away for a moment, but I will put some music on for a quick moment. I'll be right back. Just got to take care of a couple of things real quick. When I come back, then we'll get into what's on tap for tonight. So, and get going. So, with that being said, I'm going to put some music on right now. All right, with that, happy Wednesday again, everybody. Let me just take care of something real here, and then we will go and talk about what's on tap for tonight. All right, so with that being said, let's see where. So we're coming up on 5 minutes here. Okay, so here's what's on tap for tonight. So we're back to our normal news programming. So after the last couple of nights of doing, of course, that special on Canadian comics history, we're back to. So tonight I do have 3 stories slated from Bounty into Comics. And then tomorrow night we'll probably see if they have an indie comic showcase thing. Now, of course, to get us caught up on, since we did take a couple of days off to do a special report, what I am going to do is I have tonight. I have three stories planned. One involving Crunchyroll, one involving Netflix, and then one involving Disney. Um, Now, time permitting, we may even add more stories. Depending on how fast we get through these. Of course, they're talking about Crunchyroll adding some popular series to their library. The new Castlevania Nocturne coming from Netflix, and then apparently Disney winding down Lucasfilm's High Republic publishing initiative. Aside from now, depending upon how fast we get through those, you might even add a few more stories along the way, as some of these stories go back as much as almost a full week. So eventually we'll get caught up on all the news and stuff, as time permits and stuff like that. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? So we're gonna get right into our first article we're gonna go over from Bounding into Comics. That's where we're getting all of our source material tonight from Bounding into Comics, of course. So the first thing we're going to be looking at, of course, is this Crunchyroll story. Crunchyroll adds several popular series to ad-supported library, including Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, and Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. Article by Nerdigans, published August 3rd, 2023, which was, of course, last Thursday. So quite a bit of material to try to get caught up on. But, of course, we're not going to try to do all that in one night. That'd just be with only slating an hour here. Also trying to keep track of the other stuff going on with wrestling and other stuff we do. That'd be kind of a stretch. So, anyways, so here we go. It's good news for anime fans on a budget, as Crunchyroll has officially announced that they will be expanding their free with ads library to include a number of currently popular series, including Blue Lock, Chainsaw Man, and Vinland Saga. As of August 1st, the popular anime streaming platform has made the following series, some in both sub and dub form, available for streaming to free tier users in English-speaking territories, in parentheses, United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Beast Tamer, sub episodes 1 through 13, dub episodes 1 through 3. Adapted from the light novel series written by Shuzu Miyama, Beast Tamer follows Rain, a beast tamer who finds himself booted out of the, in smaller quotes, legendary heroes smaller quote, party on the grounds that his ability, making in smaller quotation marks contracts with animals, is far too weak to be of any use to their quest. Left to his own devices, he soon finds himself striking up a contract with the cat spirit Kanade, and in turns, well, I think it should say in turn, discovers, they put the S in the wrong spot there, that in doing so, he has begun to take on some of her power. A path to glory now unfolding before him, Rain sets out to carve his own path and make as many contracts as possible, much to the disdain of his former employer. So basically, he gets kicked out of a party because his ability they deem too weak to be of any use to them. And then he sits there, and it ends up that the ability has kind of a hidden thing to it, something they didn't necessarily think of. And now they're regretting their decision to kick him out. I didn't. It's kind of funny. I'm even darker than usual here with my shading. Well, I guess it's just that in the. All right. All right. Anyways, continuing on with the article here, and of course, also, guys, just a reminder, if you haven't already, of course, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will try to answer I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get back to the article here. Anyways, Blue Lock, sub episodes 1 through 24, dub episodes 1 through 3. Based on Muneyuki Kaneshiro and Yusuke Nomura's best-selling manga of the same name, Blue Lock sees Japan develop the eponymous training program in order to help them find and develop a striker who will lead Japan's World Cup team to glory. Now, what they probably mean by striker, I think it's a term used in what we here in the States call soccer, what everybody else in the world calls football. Okay, now we have a game called football here in the States as well, as everybody knows. But it's different from what everybody else in the world calls football or football in Spanish-speaking countries. You know, they're talking about soccer. A striker is usually the guy who's the main scorer on a team in a soccer unit, as I understand it. So the competition, made up of roughly 300 other high schoolers, protagonist Isagi Yoichi throws himself headfirst into the pitch as he strives to be the point man to a new era of Japanese soccer. All right, so Bochi the Rock, sub episodes 1 through 12. An adaptation of Aki Hamaji's titular manga, Bochi the Rock, centers on the life of Hitori Bochi-chan Goto, a high school student who, despite her extreme social anxiety and awkwardness, dreams of playing guitar at her school's. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I remember or at least reading a little bit about this. But, anyways, I'll just continue reading the article. Thankfully, Bochi is eventually rescued from her self-imposed exile by Nikiya Ijichi, drummer for the Kisoku band. Taking notice of Bochi's skills, Nijika proceeds to do what she can to help her new friend break out of her shell and show her skills to the world. Yeah. Kind of funny because what ends up happening, as I understand in the anime there, they form a band of basically misfits, and a classic trope storyline that everybody loves, basically. Anyways, Bungo Stray Dogs, sub episodes 1 through 12, dub episodes 1 through 3. And I've seen this one. This one's kind of interesting. Originally penned in manga form by uh, Kafurka Asagiri, Asagiri and Sango Harukawa, Bungo Stray Dogs presents an alternate reality where a number of world literary giants such as F. Scott Fitzgerald and Natsumi Soseki not only possess supernatural abilities, but have also banded together as the armed detective agency to serve as unified front against a variety of supernatural. Now, yes, now they're literary giants. You have literary giants basically representing great writers from all over the world. You have, like some American authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Louisa May Alcott, Mark Twain, all represented here, and you have obviously some Japanese writers as well in there. So that's kind of the interesting part right there. So with that, let's continue on here. Yeah, okay. In particular, the series follows a fictionalized version of author Atsushi Nakajima as he tried to make sense of the connection between his were-tiger powers. In other words, he, much like a werewolf, his were-tiger, he basically, when exposed to moonlight, transforms into a tiger, and a mysterious artifact capable of rewriting reality. There he is right there. Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Oh, another one of these long titles. That is over the last 4 or 5 years. You've been coming out with more manga and an anime with these long, elaborate titles like Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, or ones like how to not try to pick up girls in a dungeon, or the time I got turned into a slime. Number of those very interesting. Sub episodes 1 through 12, dub episodes 1 through 3, based on Ren Iguchi's original light novel. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill is unsurprisingly an isekai series. Yeah, a lot of these isekai series are series that take you to another world, basically RPG style, otherworldly manga and anime. They come out with these very elaborate titles. It's just to me, that does seem very interesting. So, anyways, let's see if anybody's joined us yet. I'm looking over these. Well, that's not. Hopefully, we'll find some people soon. Let me see now. All right. Anyways, as we continue on here. One day, four individuals, three teenagers and one average adult salaryman, are transported to a fantasy world, and while the younger of the group discover they're strong enough to be considered, in smaller quotes, heroes, the singular adult, Tsuyoshi Mukoda, finds that he is only able to access power, described as, in smaller quotes, online supermarket. Discovering that he's able to summon various foodstuffs from Japan into his new reality, and disinterested in the smaller quotes hero life, Tsuyoshi instead opts to use his gifts to form contracts with the various monsters and gods that inhabit the realm. Chainsaw Man, sub episodes 1 through 12, dub episodes 1 through 3. So they'll give you like a full season or full half season of a of the sub version, but only the first 3 episodes of the dub, the ones that are offering the dub. Introduced to the world in the pages of Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump, Tatsuki Fujimoto's popular shonen series takes place in a world where devils, evil creatures born from the fears of humanity, continually pose a danger to life on Earth. Enter Denji, a young man who's able to transform into the eponymous, in smaller quotes, superhero, thanks to having struck up a contract with his companion, the Chainsaw Devil Pochita. Thanks to his ability to literally carve a path through the supernatural enemies, Denji is soon recruited to the Public Safety Division, a task force specifically assigned to monitor and combat the devils. However, though he is initially eager to help his new employee, Denji soon discovers that there's more to the entire situation than initially believed. Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, sub episodes 1 through 25, dub episodes 1 through 3. Set in an alternate timeline, and this is another one that was pretty good too. Set in an alternative timeline where the world is controlled by just 3 superpowers: the Holy Britannian Empire, the Chinese Federation, and Europa United. Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, tells the story of Lelouch Lamperogue, the exiled prince of the Holy Britannian Empire. Driven by revenge against his father, who he believes failed his family by choosing not to pursue his mother's killer, Lelouch soon finds himself trapped in an ever-widening game of politics, subterfuge, and mecha, or giant robots, for those who may not know what the term mecha means. Thankfully, Lelouch has an advantage. Gifted with the power of the Geass, the prince is able to make anyone, at least once and only after making direct eye contact, do whatever he desires. In parentheses, no, unfortunately, Code Geass will not be available for users to the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, or New Zealand. I don't know if that's just coming down from Britain's point of view or whatever, feeling that maybe they're making Britain look bad or what have you, but that's just my guess. So, the daily life of the immortal king, sub episodes 1 through 15, dub episodes 1 through 3. Well, that's an interesting one in that it doesn't follow the usual episode format of 12 to 13 or 24 to 26 episodes. So Based on a novel by Chinese author Cookchuan, um, rather than any Japanese manga, the daily life of the immortal king recounts the story of Wang Ling, a genius whose upper limits, both mental and physical, know no real limits. However, despite his unbridled power, Wang still must receive a proper education, and thus at age 16, the wizard prodigy is forced to undertake high school life as an ordinary teenager. Though an impending world ending threat soon puts a brake on his plans, don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. Sub episode 1 through 12, dub episode 1 through 3. Yeah, I've seen little tidbits. Well, I haven't actually watched this one yet, but will at some point. I've heard a little bit about it. It's kind of intriguing. Um, in this animated take on Nanashi's popular manga, timid second year high school introvert Naoto Hachioji um, is trying to simply get through his days undisturbed, preferring solitary activities like drawing manga over interacting with his peers. And on that path, he would stay until his introduction to Hayase Nagatoro, a new first year who has a penchant for acting equal parts sadistic and temperamental. Oh boy. And again, for what little I've heard of this anime, it does sound like a fun one to watch. Just watching these two interact with each other, from what I understand. Um, However, while he does find himself run ragged by Nagatoro's constant teasing and tormenting, Naoto comes to discover that she also tantalizes him as well. Oh boy, talk about the old back and forth bit. Going back and forth between being tormented and tantalized. Now there's some torture for you. Oh boy. Hmm. Golden Kamui, sub episode 1 to 25, dub episode 1 through 3. An anime adaptation of Satoru Noda's historical fiction manga Golden Kamui takes place in the years immediately following the Russo-Japanese War of 1904-1905. Having survived the war, Sugimoto, quote, the immortal Sugimoto, unquote, Saichi, now spends his days attempting to take care of one of his brothers in arms, now widowed wife, in the city of Hokkaido. But his fortunes change when he hears tell of a secret cache of gold suddenly hidden in the region of the Ainu peoples. Hoping to use money to turn his fortunes around, Sugimoto soon teams up with an Ainu girl named Asurpa in order to find the gold, and along the way enact revenge on behalf of her murdered father. Licorice Recoil, sub episode 1 through 12, dub episodes 1 through 3. One of two original works included in Crunchyroll's latest library update, Licorice Recoil revolves around the titular Licorice, an all-girl group that fights crime on behalf of a secret organization, Direct Attack. At the center of the series are Chisato Nishikigi, the strongest Licorice agent of all time, and Takina Inoue, a mysterious and reserved agent who has found herself butting heads with her superiors. Actually, some of this sounds a little bit similar to Silent Mobius to me, just from what I'm seeing. eventually teamed up in an effort to minimize the effects of their, uh, in small quote, loose cannon outlooks. Chisato and Takina are first assigned to work at the undercover branch of the direct attack, the Cafe Licoreco, um, and will both um, and both believe the. Okay, I believe that was a case. Somebody did a typo there, and editing didn't pick that up. But I believe that's supposed to say believe the task to be, for better or worse, unbefitting for a licorice agent. They soon find themselves perfectly placed to thwart a terrorist plot. Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, sub episodes 0 through 12, dub episodes 0 through 2. And the first 3 episodes, but they have a episode 0 here. So, and technically, I guess it would be 13 episodes, but again. The second original series on the list and the latest entry of the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. The Witch from Mercury takes place at a time when corporations have begun to extend their reach into the stars, resulting in growing turmoil between spaceborne humans and earthborne ones. Now, this particular anime was getting a lot of attention because of the debate on whether or not the characters were like lesbians, trans, if they were like LGBTQ at all, or there was just debate on it, over it. So, introduced into this budding conflict is Suletta Mercury, a young woman who transfers to the Benerit Group's Astikasia School of Technology in hopes of becoming a full-blown mobile suit pilot. Unfortunately for the wide-eyed, bushy-eyebrowed teen, um, the reality of her dreams not as rosy as the fantasy, and Suletta must eventually confront the question of is what I'm fighting for worth the cost. I need to step away from the computer for a moment. I think somebody might be at the door. Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. I think somebody just came home. So, anyways. So I guess I don't need to step away. So we can continue with the article here then. So the next one here, My Dress Up Darling, sub episodes 1 through 12, dub episodes 1 through 3, based on Shinichi Fukuda's manga of the same name. My Dress Up Darling tells the story of Wakana Gojo, a talented but socially awkward craftsman of Hina dolls. Though Wakana is content in his work, his world changes forever when he's approached by one of the most popular girls at his school, Marine Kitagawa, to make a cosplay costume. Agreeing to undertake the challenge, Wakana soon finds himself not only delving in headfirst into cosplay costuming, prop work, and makeup techniques, but also forming a budding romance with the girl who he once believed to be completely out of his league. Wow. Quite a love story there. This one story is taking longer than I thought it was going to take. Well, we're already at the 34-minute mark. Ranking of Kings, sub episode 1 through 23, sub episode 1 through 3. Created by the mangaka Sosuke Toka and adapted by Wit Studio, ranking of kings is set in a world where the various kings of Earth are continually ranked according to their general power, with the king at the top receiving a small payout from the fabled divine treasure vault. Though deaf and often looked down upon due to his extremely small size, Boss Kingdom Prince Boji dreams of one day taking the seat atop the pantheon of kings. Sadly, Boji does eventually receive the chance to pursue his goals, but only when his father, King Boss, passes away. But thanks to the kingdom's low opinion of Boji's capabilities, rather than being crowned the ruler of Boss Kingdom, the young prince is instead temporarily ousted from the throne, being told that he must train himself in order to be worthy of his position. The reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. Sub-episodes 1 through 23. Sub-episodes 1 through 3. Adapted from Kiichi Kosuzu's isekai light novel, The Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World, recounts the tale of Haruoshi Kuga, a genius exorcist who manages to pull off a successful reincarnation after finding himself on the brink of death. Reborn as the much younger Seika Lamprogue, Haruyoshi is shocked to discover that despite being born into a distinguished wizarding family, he does not possess any magical ability whatsoever. Oh boy. Element they probably picked up, I think it's from either Magicano or Maburaho. Actually, Magicano. Resolving Haruyoshi Seika declares that rather than give up, he will instead master various talismans and jutsu in order to emulate his past abilities. I do actually need to step away for a moment here. I will be right back. I'll put the music on while I'm gone. I'm back. Hey, do we have? Guess not. All right. So, anyways, we continue on here with the article. Soul Eater, sub episode 1 through 25, dub episode 1 through 3, taking place in Nevada, USA. Atsushi Okubo's Soul Eater revolves around the Death Weapons Meister Academy, a fictional organization. So another typo there, run by Death itself. Therein, humans are trained to use various supernatural weapons, all of which are able to take on human form before being tasked with reaping a total of 99 evil souls and the soul of one witch. Which, if done in order, will successfully produce a new scythe for their master to use in his eternal work. This was a fun one to watch too. Prepared for this task, the Academy's latest class, Maka Albarn, and Soul Eater, Black Star and Tsubaki Nakasukasa, and Death the Kid with his weapon partner Liz and Patty Thompson finds their futures rocked when they stumble onto a plot to revive the evil god Ashura, whose return threatens to ruin mankind once again. Again, note, unfortunately, Soul Eater will not be available for users in the United Kingdom or Ireland. Spy Family, sub-episodes 1 through 25, dub-episodes 1 through 3. Set in a Cold War-esque period of counterintelligence warfare and intelligence-hungry subterfuge, the adaptation of Tatsuya Endo's Spy Family follows Twilight, a highly skilled spy for the Westalslis agency, whose latest assignment is to spy on the leader of a neighboring Ostania nation. Of course, this is easier said than done, and in order to even get close to the politician, Twilight, under the alias Lloyd Forger, ends up adopting a daughter and faking a marriage to a local woman. Yeah, this one's another kind of cute one that I've heard about. That, you know, however, unbeknownst to Twilight, both members of his fake family hold startling secrets, with his, in smaller quotes, wife, Yor, actually being the alter ego of a notorious assassin known as the Thorn Princess, and his, in smaller quotes, daughter, possessing the ability to read the minds of those around her. Quite an interesting. Now, could you imagine what would happen if they figured each other's secrets out and they actually end up working together? That might be some very interesting. Valeria Montoya. Hello, Valeria. Welcome to the Mikestand. Hope you'll be able to stick around. Anyways, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. I will be right back. Put some music on while I'm gone. Alrighty then. So now, anyways, back to the article here. Vinland Saga, sub-episodes 1 through 24. A fictionalized retelling of the real-world Norse historical documents, the saga of Eric the Red and the saga of the Greenlanders. Vinland Saga revolves around the journey of Thorfinn, a young Viking who once dreamed of setting sail on the open seas for an adventure all his own. However, these dreams were quickly dashed when his father, Thor's, was murdered by the mercenary Askeladd. Forcefully taken under Askeladd's wing and trained as a terrifying warrior, his father figured, knowing full well that the lessons he would impart on the boy would eventually be turned against him. Thorfinn's life soon spirals into an endless road of battle, bloodshed, and broken bones. Yona of the Dawn, sub-episodes 1 through 24, sub-episodes 1 through 3. Oh yeah, this one was pretty interesting too, with some good music to it. 2,000 years after an epic battle between the gods resulted the formation of the Koka Kingdom. Princess Yona is preparing for her 16th birthday. However, before any festivities can occur, Yona is visited by Suwan, her childhood friend and love interest. Though she is initially elated to see him, she is soon shocked to discover him brutally murdering her father, the current king of Koka. Informed by Suwan that he intends to forcefully take over as the nation's next king, Yona, along with her bodyguard, Hak, proceed to go on the run, fleeing in exile to the capital city of a neighboring kingdom. After catching their breaths, the two vow to do what they can to stop Suwan's machinations, starting with recruiting to her side the very gods whose power created the world she lives in. And there we go with that one. Let me see where we're at on time here. We're already up to the 50-minute mark here. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking we'd get through 3, but we only got through 1. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the wrestling wrap up here, and then and we'll get on to this day in history. So, in WWE news, there's been a bit of an injury bug hitting a bit as a number of wrestlers have, Roman Reigns apparently got injured during his match with Jey Uso at SummerSlam, which whether or not it's for real, because they're thinking it might be, as he's not being slated to be back until later this year, taking some time off. Let's see, among some of the other injuries being reported, Sami Zayn is working through a minor injury. Sonya Deville got injured in a tag team title defense match last week, and she may be out for a while. And they're just now figuring out what to do with the women's tag team championships. And the deal with Endeavor is getting ready to is nearing completion. And also recently they decided to switch up the commentary teams, as it was believed that Endeavor wants Michael Cole to be the face of the broadcast team for a while, as things got switched up where Michael Cole and Wade Barrett are now on Raw, and Michael Cole will be still on SmackDown, but with Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick. They feel that working with this three-man team, this might give Patrick a little more time to get a little more seasoning under his belt. So that's basically all the WWE news we have for you. Moving on to AEW, as AEW, of course, continues to make their way towards All In at the end of the month here on the 27th. As it were, already signed, of course. MJF will be defending the AEW World Title against Adam Cole. Now on tonight's Dynamite, you do have a couple of title matches going on. As in the main event, Hikaru Shida defends the AEW Women's World Title against Anna Jay of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jack Perry defends the FTW title against Rob Van Dam. Recently signed Rob Van Dam to AEW in an FTW rules match. Basically, the anything goes match. If you guys remember the lineage of the FTW, the FTW title. The Lucha Brothers will be taking on the Blackpool Combat Club as they challenge the winner of the parking lot brawl from last week, in which the Blackpool Combat Club just decimated Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. And then in the opening match of the night, in what some would call a dream match between two of the greatest teams of all time, the Hardys are taking on the Young Bucks. And this is also coming off of this past Saturday's Collision, where FTR challenged the Young Bucks one more time. They offered them a title shot at the AEW World Tag Team title for All In. Don't know if that's been signed yet, but that will be coming up. So that's all coming up tonight on. And then also we of course have some NWA news. National Wrestling Alliance news is on last night's episode of Power, which you can see every Tuesday on YouTube. Opening match saw Ella Envy defeat Missa Kate in a last chance match. Now, Pretty Empowered as a group have been lobbying to get one more shot at the Women's World Tag Team titles. Now, while the current champions, M95, who beat them a couple months back, Maddie and Missa Kate, they want to move on to other challenges. Pretty Empowered has been, keeping up the pressure to, and what the NWA board decided to do here was they told, okay, we'll give you a chance to earn a shot. If you can beat Pretty Empowered picks one competitor, and 95 picks one competitor. If in this case it was Envy versus Mr. Gate. Ella Envy, if she won the match, they would get their title shot. She lost the match. They would basically be forever. According to the announcers, they would be forever barred from going after the title again. So, we also saw Anthony Andrews defeat Cody James, Magnum Muscle defeat the Savages, Odison defeat Zion with Austin Idol in his corner by a DQ, and then in the main event saw NWA World Tag Team Champions La Rebellion teaming with Vampiro, making his in-ring debut with NWA to defeat Mario Pardua. I guess he himself is now going by the name Polish Power, once the moniker of Ivan Putski, and the Brothers of Construction. Now, also announced on this episode of Power are a bit more the details for the main event for night 2 at the NWA Anniversary Show on Sunday, December 27th. Of course, as some of you may know, Tyrus would have been defending the world title against EC3, which is still going on, but instead of a regular match, they announced it was going to be a bull rope match. Now, for those of you who don't know what a bull rope match is, it's a match that was originated by Dusty Rhodes as a booker. Two guys are tied together. The idea of the match is to beat your opponent up to the point to where you can basically drag him around the ring and touch all 4 ring corners. So that's basically what you have to do in a bull rope match. Now, Tyrus has stated that if he loses the title in the match, he will retire. So it's a wonder if Tyrus kind of up there in years, but he's also not considered the best shape in the world. I don't know if this is just his way of retiring or what, but there we go. So that's all the wrestling news we have for you. Now onto of course this day in each history. We're going to start to wrap things up here. 1943, 1983, and 1983. All right, so without any further ado, today being Wednesday, August the 9th, 2023, let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So first off, we head back 80 years ago, and on this date, 80 years ago today, the first issue of Giggle Comics from ACG went on sale on this date in 1943 for 10 cents. It was 56 pages. I look at the artwork on here, and it reminds me, of course, of the cartoons of that period, too. Seems like a lot of the same artwork there. So on this date, 80 years ago today, the first issue of Giggle Comics from ACG went on sale on this date back in 1943. So with that, moving on to our next piece in each history. And if you haven't already, of course, you can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. Also, anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So anyways, moving on to the next piece of each history as we move ahead to 1983, which was 40 years ago today. On this date, 40 years ago today, Timothy Flowers would defeat Randy Rich to win the vacant NWA Pacific Television Championship in Burnaby, British Columbia. Of course, this was a title that was competed for in the Vancouver territory of the NWA. So on this date in 40 years ago today, Timothy Flowers would defeat Randy Rich to win the vacant NWA Pacific Television Championship. And 1983 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. As also on this date in 1983, on this date in 1983, actually, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to Ashley Johnson. Ashley Johnson turns 40 today. Now, for those of you who may not remember Ashley, of course, Ashley Johnson, her first claim to fame was portraying the youngest daughter, Chrissy Seaver, on Growing Pains, the live action. And then afterwards, she would actually become quite a prolific voice actress. In the voice, among her credits include Gretchen Grunler in Recess, Tara in the Teen Titans series, Gwen Tennyson in the Ben 10 franchise, and Tulip Olson in Infinity Train. So on this date so happy 40th birthday to Ashley Johnson. Born on this date 40 years ago today. So with that, thank you everybody for being here. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Tomorrow night, we most likely we will be doing, of course, Indie Comic Showcase from Bounding into or Bleeding Fool, unless it's not up, unless they didn't do one this week. If they didn't do one this week, then we'll continue with the news articles. As I said, we're going to try to keep it around an hour. And if I plan and then find out that we don't, we have time, then we may do more stories, or we may end up doing less. So, anyways, with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I will see you all. Oh, don't forget, of course, tomorrow night we'll be back with more news. On Friday, we'll have Metal from the Vomitorium. He'll be my co-host as we look back to November of 1939, looking at books. The book that went on sale from Lev Gleason, Silver Streak Volume 1, Number 2. So with that, I thank you all for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.